I love predicting things. It's one of my favorite things
Because you're so freaking good at it. Yeah, I love riding a bike because I'm good at that. Captain's Pod, Stardate 20320222.6. Hello and welcome aboard the Starship Sinterprise, and thank you for joining us as we take a brief shore leave from the world of CinemaSins to explore the universe of Star Trek. I'm your Captain Ian Whittington, and with me as always, she's the best of both worlds. It's Ambassador Deneé Hughes.
Oh my god, the best of both worlds. That's me.
You get
Wait,
the
what?
best of both. That's a song, isn't it? From
It is.
Is it High School Musical? No,
Don't
it's
know.
Hannah Montana.
Don't
Hannah
know.
Montana. Mhm.
Unsure.
Unrelated.
But just, I mean, there's a lot of worlds in Star Trek, so I'm just the best of two of them.
So the best of both worlds is an episode title, and it's probably the best episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. That's the episode where Picard is assimilated.
Oh my
So
god.
I called you one of the
Holy
greatest
shit.
episodes of all time. That's how I feel about our final voyage together.
No, you need to be honest. Did you change the title from something snarky to something kind after a last recording?
This week we'll be covering off season 1, episode 10 of Star Trek Picard.
Oh, it's our last
shit.
episode.
I know, it's our last one doing Picard. We'll do wrap up and feelings at the end, but overall, have you enjoyed re-engaging with Star Trek through Picard?
I've loved it.
Yay!
Yeah, this has been
Add
super
applause
fun.
here.
You know, when we were talking about watching Picard originally, it was just like, hey, you should watch Picard. I think you'd probably like it. You know, you like Star Trek. And then I'm like, yeah, I probably should, but will I? And then I think the podcast idea came shortly after, and it was a great way to make me watch it.
Yeah,
Because
let's turn this into work.
I made the time for it, and I think probably I really loved the show with you. Obviously, it's been a lot of fun. I think we should say this isn't the last episode of this podcast, though.
No, to be really clear, Captain's Pod will continue. There may be a slight hiatus between this and season 2, but there are plans for this to continue and to look at other Star Trek content as well.
Yes,
but
there are
this will be it for Picard.
several members of the Sins team who want to come on the show
Can I come play? Can I come talk about Star Trek?
because there's so much content.
There's so much to talk about, and so much that I'm one of the exceptions where I've seen every minute of content. There are some people that nope, TNG is my Star Trek, Deep Space Nine is my Star Trek. So I love the idea of zeroing in on people that have a specific lens of Trek.
And you have a good group of people, not only on the CinemaSins team, but just in your wheelhouse of friends who are also Star Trek fans. So there's a lot more to explore here. But for this particular launch of the podcast, I've had a blast. How has it been for you? Because I know you, like you said, you're like a huge Star Trek fan, and you're new to CinemaSins as far as, well, not new as far as a fan, but you're new on staff. So this project has been kind of interesting for you, I think.
Oh, it's been amazing. It is, if you could tick off a couple of dream jobs, it's like, hey, do you want to talk about Star Trek on a podcast? Yeah, let's do it. But doing it with somebody that is a fan of Star Trek and watching you rediscover things has been such a joy. And as much as it's challenged my rose-tinted spectacle view of the series, if I watch this with someone else, they're just like, it's perfect, it's the best, it is a masterpiece, it is the best thing I've ever watched. But watching it with you has given me the sin brain on it and the analytical side of things as well. But it's been a joy to see you really enjoy some of the episodes as well. And just overall, it's given me more confidence in the series, because even with all of the skepticism, you've come through it loving it and just liking where it went and how it dealt with Picard. So
I am nervous about the
made
finale,
me love it more.
But I have to say, here at the end, I really do feel like I will come away liking Picard a lot, because it did do a lot of really wonderful things as a fan of TNG that I can't deny. And it does make me want to go back for more, which is a sign of a good series too, where the things that I wish that they would have explored more is something that my little fan brain can do.
Yeah.
As much as I would have wanted maybe the series to spend more time on it, I also know there's more seasons too. So maybe there's more exploration that will sort of do what I wanted to see in this season.
And
So,
no matter how many
yeah.
things, no matter how many seasons they had, they would never tick off all of the fan service
No,
that
of
we
course
want.
not. Of
All
course
the, like,
not.
unless I have season 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of The Next Generation, I will never, ever be satisfied. I will always want more of that
Yeah.
crew and that show. That's the sign of it's a sign of a good show, isn't it? You always want more.
And in that way, I'm glad that you've had fun on this show with me
Yeah.
because I know I've also been annoying you. So
Yeah, but
thanks for having
the
me
life.
on your ship. I appreciate
That's my
it.
job. That's just what I'm going to have to get used to over the coming years of working with Deneé.
Yeah, yeah.
No, you are a joy. Well, with that, let's embark on not the final voyage, but the final voyage of this mission of the Starship Sinterprise.
Okay.
We will see you in 10 forward for a debrief of the season finale of Picard. 2 to beam to the finale. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab a drink from the replicator and share our thoughts and feelings on the episode and series that we watched together.
Together.
That's it. That's a wrap on Picard. So we've just watched the finale. Revelations were had. Story beats were concluded. We left everybody awaiting the arrival of the Romulans. Most people kind of being kidnapped by the evil androids that want to team up with the other evil androids from other galaxies. It's down to Picard to save the day. Go on. You were so skeptical going into this final episode about whether they would pull it off and whether it would be satisfying for you. How did you feel about it?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't think she liked it, which is fine. It's fine. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot that gets wrapped up.
What's the drink that they were drinking after Picard dies?
The petrol, the lubricant.
Yeah, that's what I'm drinking. What are you?
Yeah. Me, I am drinking fear and nervousness. No, not really. So
What did
this
you
is
think
very
of
much.
it? What did you think of this finale when you first watched it?
When I first watched it, I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I still love it. I still adore it for lots of reasons that I will share with you. It's very much a finale of 2 parts. So it has the storyline that it needs to wrap up with the synths and the Romulans and the conspiracy and Picard and all of that. And then it has what it wanted to do from day one, which was have Picard say goodbye to Data and give them their moment.
That
and
is
redeem
the actual purpose of this show. And
Correct.
So now we know what they really wanted to do all along was give them their moment.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, redeeming Nemesis, and well, not redeeming Nemesis, but apologizing for Nemesis and how they kind of did Data dirty by getting rid of him that way. So it's giving Picard and Data one final goodbye.
Goodbye.
That's really what they were trying to get to. So they had to wrap up the finale kind of with 17 minutes to spare so that they could do that business with Data. So in terms of wrapping up the series with the conspiracies, the Simps and everything, did you like that with with Starfleet turning up, Soji making the right decision, Picard and the example that he set to the Simps? Narc.
Yeah, what happened in Narc anyway?
Yeah, just chilling. In prison, I hope. Because they were this close to trying to redeem him as well. And I'm like, nope, don't you dare. Don't you dare.
You know, there are some restaurants I love to go to.
Oh, no.
Because you know the people, you know the food, you know the booth, you know the music, you know the smell, you know you can get your favorite meal. Every once in a while, there might be another restaurant you go to and you're like, holy shit, this is amazing food.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes your view of your favorite restaurant a little bit, but you still go back to your favorite restaurant because it has the exact same food that you love. And even like the new cooks and stuff that come in, they might change things a little bit. Like maybe they do that bun a little bit longer on the burner than, you know, it should be, but it's still good. It's still your favorite recipe. That is the finale of Picard for me. It is a delightfully, perfectly fine meal that I would expect it to have. I every once in a while took a bite that I was like, oh man, that restaurant that I went to before was really, really good. No, this is fine. This is fine. You know, so it was fine. But I was not happy with several things that happened in this one. But I don't know that the things I wasn't happy about ruined the finale for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm like, fuck yeah. Like there's a couple fuck yeah moments for sure. Riker showing up was really fun, and
that's so good. Did you like that? Like he's in uniform, his beard is fixed, his hair is fixed.
Oh, and he's doing like the cocky sitting in the seat, like kind of wonky,
he's leaning
like
to
off
one side.
His Riker lean.
The Riker lean. Oh, it's so good. I'm gonna take great pleasure in kicking your Tal Shiar ass.
Yeah, I loved that. That was great. There was other things that I was frustrated by or whatever.
Tell me the frustrations. Do it.
Right now? Are you ready to just jump in? Are we going to go scene by scene? Are we gonna, what do you want to... It's like the last episode. What do you want to do, Captain?
Okay. I mean, going scene by scene, thank you. Is a little bit redundant. So we find out that Narissa has survived the crash as well. And
okay.
Yeah.
She fucking beamed out. She beamed out.
Yes, to where I thought she beamed to a ship, but she didn't. She beamed to another part of the Borg ship.
Apparently.
Instead of to her pod. Who knows?
So annoying.
But yes. So we do actually find out something that I wish they'd told us earlier, and that's that Narek has been kicked out of the Zartvash and has been like rejected by his family, and he's a bit of a washout, and he's kind of figured this stuff out. Yeah, and he's figured this stuff out of his own. He's on his own mission to redeem himself, which, if we had known from the beginning, might have helped us inform some of his decision making and what he's doing. But we find out in the very last episode that he's really got something to prove. He's not necessarily a secret agent. I mean, he is, but he's on his own mission.
Yeah, I don't know that I even care about that enough to. It's like, oh, okay, whatever.
Well, with that...
No, you're not wrong. It is interesting, but as it's happening, it's like, okay.
It happens so quick. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. We needed that sooner.
It's that last minute attempt to sort of give him sort of we need to do something to excuse a way that our heroes are going to work with the enemy for this last final episode. Which, again, question, where is he? I mean, we literally end things. It's like, and where did Narc end up? We don't know. There's no explanation whatsoever. There wasn't like let's beam Narc to the Romulan ships and get him out of this planet. He's just...
Yeah. Where's Elnor? Like, Elnor doesn't need anything either. But there we go. So Narek teams up with what's left of the crew of the La Sirena to blow up the beacon, and they make their way back in with a football field with explosives to blow up the synths. So we have like a little mini heist, Ocean's 11 type thing to sneak in at the beginning of this episode.
All that is so silly to me. If the synths are so concerned about people coming to kill them, even though these folks were with Soji, they've locked up 2 of the people. I mean, so Agnes started helping them, but Picard is locked up, and then suddenly Rios and Rafi are able to just show back up and be like, hey, we're palling around, and here's Elnor. You haven't met him yet, but we're bringing a new guy with us. Also this super questionable narc guy, and I guess the idea is that they're childlike, so they just kind of let them in. I don't know.
Well, they've said multiple times they can tell when people are lying. And it's like all 4 of them are lying their asses off right now.
This is a question I have throughout this episode is okay, so what are their abilities? Because right now they just seem like regular low-grade people, because even in the fight scene, like that was a frustrating part for me too, is like they're fighting, but they're obviously not very powerful. Like, do they not understand how powerful they are?
Yeah.
And then they just stop fighting at some points in time.
It knocks 2 of them down. Yeah, they should be well outnumbered.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that just don't add up. This is an ending that you just feel like, okay, that's how it ends.
Yeah, it's like we know that Picard and his self-sacrifice will be the thing that saves the day, and we'll have the fist-punching moment of Riker coming in. But we will... So anything else that anyone else is doing doesn't matter. So whatever Rios is doing, 7 is great. Like, she stops the Borg ship from firing on them. But That's it. She gets to kick Narissa off a platform.
She gets to murder somebody. That was cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was fun. Look at you, Miss, no, murder them all.
I know. And then fall in love with Rafi. I'm okay for that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I liked that. I don't mind that it was kind of tacked on to the end. It's really sweet.
No.
There is the weird pairing at the very end.
Yeah, I guess, since we're going to, bounce around. Yeah, the end is it's the textbook. And so then everyone's together and happy, and
until season 2 when some conflict happens.
Yeah, we also didn't talk about the magical MacGuffin tool that comes into play that saves the day.
Mm-hmm. Literally, if that isn't handed off,
none of this happens.
I don't know how this works. No, none of it happens.
The ship doesn't fly. They're pretty fucked. It's such a strange thing that the synths can create a tool that will read your brain waves and know what you need it to do and then redesign itself to be that. That's pretty cool.
It's really pushing the MacGuffin all the way. This will really be whatever the plot needs it to be.
Yeah, sure will.
So Picard steals the ship, delays the Romulans. We get the awesome moment with Riker turning up, and the point that Picard is trying to make is that he will sacrifice himself in a sign of we'll protect the synths. So therefore, you don't need to call the bigger synths.
Yes, that's
organics care.
Yeah, he's gonna prove that he's willing to make big moves too. I did like watching him fly the ship. That was kind of a fun
that was
moment,
fun. I liked that.
And the nod to, let's see how much I was paying attention, knowing that he was just over there in the seat watching this entire time to learn. I loved that, and that he's struggling and trying to concentrate and figure all of this out. And you've got
the ship's a bit wobbly.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that part. I found the fight scene to be a little bit strange a couple times, but I mean overall,
which one?
When you see the flower fight was kind of I don't know what's on screen right now.
It's just a mess,
so
isn't
messy.
it? Of
but when
a blanket of flowers.
But then when the Federation shows up, facing off against the Romulans, you're like, yeah, this is the clear battle that doesn't actually happen.
Nope, it never does.
So we got to have a space fight with flowers.
Yep,
but with flowers that they made in one day too.
Oh, well, no, they said that they had 10 left.
Was that 10?
So they started off, it looked more than 10, but it may have just been 10. I don't know. I didn't count.
There was more than 10. I think they
maybe made a couple.
They went into flower production really quickly.
Go, pump them out. Go.
Which, when you guys are hearing the sins in this as I talk, I can't help myself. It was a very interesting thing to, I guess, they're using the flowers as a sort of way to make sure that Picard isn't so easily seen by the Romulans. So it's sort of we're going to put a whole bunch of just debris into the atmosphere so that it's not easy for the Romulan ships to pick off Picard's ship.
Because they didn't care about Picard's ship. They don't know what La Serena's doing at all. It's
they don't.
Just
or do they even see it amongst the flowers? That was kind of my interpretation is that they're sort of able to get around all of it and then face off, and of course all of that's in the perfect timing and everything happens perfectly and everyone waits for all the speeches to end before doing things, and you have all that textbook stuff happening again. This is why you go to the restaurant to eat it. Know exactly what to expect, and it hits those marks and it's edible. And
it was a very safe finale in that respect. There's one big swing that it makes, and that is Picard does technically die. So we get to kind of towards the end of the episode. Well, yeah, it's at the end of the episode. It's all been too much for him, and he dies, and the brain abnormality takes over. But of course, Ambassador guessed it. He goes into the golem.
I mean, I was hoping it was Agnes. That would be so much more interesting to give this character. I'm wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong about she didn't kill Alton. Alton goes with them and helps our team out. I was wrong about Soji killing evil Soji. She's just taken out with a little magical light pen from Alton. So all these very, very simple, quick things happen, and so it's all down to Soji's decision, which I knew that it was going to be Soji's decision, but so it's all her decision and everything. I am shocked that they put Picard into the golem. shocked and
when
upset.
you started losing it.
Oh, so annoyed. I'm like, don't you fucking put Picard. They put him in the golem. They put him in the golem.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
My big problem with it, and the sins are going to be flowing. My big problem is, why bother giving him a brain abnormality to just ignore it? It's like, if that's the thing that's going to eventually kill him, great. But why kill him and bring him back? Just don't give him the brain abnormality.
Is it because they had to have him die so that he could have an interaction with Data? So as a writer, you're writing this and you're like, how do we have a scene with Data and Picard if his consciousness has to be apart from his body? Well, then he has to die. But the problem with that is that all of the emotion that you just showed us, all the sacrifice, all of this development is vaporized in minutes. It's just gone. Elnor sobbing on the ridge doesn't mean a shit. Like, okay, his emotion was legit in the moment, but it doesn't carry that weight. We don't get to sit with it, and then we go right into another death, which, by the way, plug him back in, he comes back. So
no, you can't plug him back in. He's gone.
You could plug him back in.
He's gone. You've wiped it. The memory's been wiped. He's gone. It's gone. You didn't save progress. You turned the computer off without saving. I
mean, when Data talks about his own death, he even says, even if it's just for a moment, I want to feel the feeling of finite.
Aging and dying.
Right. So it's just like, this is meaningful until you plug his fucking chip back in, just like you did to Picard. It's meaningful. It's meaningful until you just... they literally say, they spend the next several minutes of the next scene explaining why they just gave him the same body without the brain thing, because we just wanted to give you a little bit more time, and it's like,
just need another couple decades.
Jesus.
That's the big contentious thing for me, is giving him the golem body that, I mean, you could never reference it again and you'd never know. Like, they did everything. I was like, yep, you'll live the same amount of time. You have the same liver spots.
Just keep you a little bit. We knew you were going to be uncomfortable. So, we
damn it. Put me in the body of a 30 or 40-year-old. Damn it. Like,
right? And
my God.
That was my thing. Is like, you're not going to put Picard in a different body. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But
it's Patrick Stewart.
They just literally put him in the same.
So let's move on to the moments with Data. So did you like that scene of them having a chat and then Data passing away? How did that hit you? Because I'm getting the impression that didn't hit you right.
I think it's what the fans needed. I think it's what people wanted that are, big fans. I think that they needed that to kind of feel like they could maybe forgive the franchise for taking a really important friendship and not giving it the time that it needed. And so I think it's something that probably people other than myself needed. I don't know that I needed that, but as I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I love seeing them back together again, and their interaction with each other and the way that they communicate and these terms that they're using to talk about like Data's emotion. I suddenly want to go back and watch TNG so bad right now. Like right now, I want to walk away from Picard, which is annoying me. Good meal, but I want to go back to TNG because Data is such a fun character, and I got to see him back interacting with Picard in this really interesting, way. And I think that they needed to put that story to rest, and this was their way of doing it. So I don't think that it was done poorly, but it didn't hit me, I think, like it would somebody who's really, really invested in the series and like yourself, who watches it a whole lot and all that stuff. It should have maybe been more about that somehow. More
about that moment, spend more time in it? The story itself should have been more about getting to Data.
Getting to Data, or Data's impact onto the synths and how his thought process is already existing in these other beings. And like, just that exploration is really interesting to me, but it was all about like, we've got to destroy them all. We're bringing in this Mars. They really just did a ton. And so like the areas of emotion and depth of character that I would want to go back in and give Data more life or give Picard more life, or they just would have had to sit in those moments with them a little bit longer so that this here at the end hits for someone like myself who hasn't seen Data in a long time. I haven't thought about the relationship in a long time. This is like a chance for us to understand that. But they did do a good job kind of at the beginning with Data. He's in their dreams, and I understand that that's the purpose of Picard wanting to go on this mission in the first place. But then the story became about Soji, and it became about Rafi, and it became about, Rios, and it became about all these other people and Elnor So it's like inside of all of these things going on, I'm supposed to also remember this really deep relationship with Data. And here at the end, it's touched on again. And it's like, it just makes me, I forgot that was important throughout the entire meal almost. So, but I think it was needed and I did like it. What did you think about it?
So I get it, kind of coming at it with somebody that isn't like encyclopedic with like TNG and stuff. You really need to be to get the full weight. And I suppose that's a given when you call the show Picard, but it is a love letter to the fans. It really, really is. It is like, we could have, if they'd said like, what's the wildest thing that you would want, it would be, oh, I want Data to come back and I want to see Picard and Data have a chat. I was like, yeah, but Data died, so we can't do that. Yeah, but that's what I want. And so we kind of got exactly what we wanted. And I love that scene. Like, I've seen that scene 4 or 5 times now. Like, the whole Picard and Data back and forth, and then Data aging with his captain in his red uniform next to him holding his hand and completing.
Oh, that was so beautiful, right? That was so beautiful.
Good.
And that room, how it was like painted, like
it's
really
perfect.
Muted and stuff. Yeah, that was really, really symbolic.
And Data in his like Sherlock Holmes gown, like that was the closest he got to off duty wearing TNG was wearing that. It's so good. It completes Data's story. So for me, it's a great bookend. More than wrapping up Picard, it wraps up Data, and it kind of undoes his ending and then gives him a proper one.
Okay, go with me on this.
I think it's gorgeous.
Go with me on this.
Go for it.
Have this conversation with Data earlier in the series. Have this death of Picard earlier in the series, right? Mm-hmm. And then the rest of this is, all of a sudden, Picard is way more invested in, Since having purpose, because he is one himself. Like, these decisions and these choices shift so much. Kill Data. You can kill Data midway through or at the end, where he's had like a relationship build up with him. And that's even more impactful because you're letting this person go. There's just like, there was something about it here at the end that just felt like I've just had so much happen to me.
Almost too late.
And then it's like, this last bite of food is so important. And because I've eaten so much, I'm not hungry anymore. And so it's like, I don't get to enjoy the flavor as much. But like, I think there was a way to make that a love letter to the fans, where it wasn't just like a surprise at the end, here's the scene that you've been waiting for, but actually put that in and make it be a driving force for what pulls this crew together. You could still keep all the rest of it. It just kind of shifts it around a little bit more. And maybe they suffer because they didn't have a plan throughout the whole thing. Like, they just kind of put some episodes together that,
I think they knew where they wanted to end up, and then had to find some stuff to get them there.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if this was at like the Nepenthe episode in like episode 6, and that's when the big chat happens. So it's almost like a mid-season finale that Picard is now a synth as well, and
he's
has
a synth
to advocate for them.
But exactly. He has that shift. We say goodbye to him, and the fans all know. Because here's what they did. It's like, Picard's dead, but he's not dead.
Yeah,
and it's like, but Data's dead, but is he dead? But then, isn't he? But he could, but maybe, because he's on storage cards, but not
There's
really.
Always a maybe.
But it would be so interesting if they spent several episodes actually being okay with letting him go, and showing how that lives on, like, somehow, so that when we get to the point where we have this moment where he fades away, we're sobbing because we know it's the end, and it's not this like, will they, won't they, doo-dee-doo kind of a feel. Anyway, I loved it. I would go back for it again. It's just like, I'm like, oh, that was so close to being even better.
It could have. You're absolutely right. It's almost like they rushed everything around it as well.
Bit.
Like the Commodore O stuff, she's an undercover agent, but she skips out from being head of Starfleet security to head of the Romulan Empire.
How?
Like, so quick. Like, how does she get off of Earth? Like, we don't know. She's just suddenly heading up the fleet.
Yeah, there's so many questions. Like, there's just those little things throughout that are like, wait, how did that work? And it's because we're at the end that they're not going to answer those questions, because they're driving towards what they want to say to the fans before they go. Yeah. And I understand that.
Yeah. I think it would have been cool, but there's no way that Data moment, it was going to be anywhere other than the end. Like, that was they probably wrote that scene
No.
first.
Yeah. That would be a great way to end the series if I had. I almost got teary-eyed because it was really beautiful. Like him aging, that was so.
Oh man,
like,
that aging.
Oh, it was
so
powerful.
Well done.
It was really, really powerful. And knowing that it's something that Data wanted. But if I had known that that was probably going to happen at some point and that the battle was letting go of this really powerful force that can create other life, like I have so many questions. Does that mean that they're not creating more? Like it's just, there's so many other things that I want to know. But you know, I wasn't asked to write the series, guys. So
you should have been. It does feel messy. It does feel like there's too many moving parts, too ambitious.
It's a buffet.
It's like it really is an all-you-can-eat buffet, and it's the amount of time they put into Rios and and Raffi and everything. It's like they're setting up a 7-season arc rather than just a 3-season situation.
I love the at the end, you know, that they all assemble and they're going on their next adventure. He finally says engage. Like we kind of get to do that whole thing. And, you know, I love that. And I think that's a really great way to kind of to end it. It gives the fans that feeling of like, oh, we're not done yet. Look at these adventures. But again, right on the heels of losing Data, it feels like all of a sudden, again, there's something that was a little bit meaningless. So... I don't know.
I get where you're coming from. I think I love the Riker stuff, Starfleet turning up, and the Data aging chat stuff. So good. I pretty much forget about everything else that happens in the episode and the series. Like Nepenthe with like Riker and Troy is so good. Rios is playful enough that I enjoy it. Yeah. Everything for me is about getting to Nepenthe and getting to the Data scene at the end. And I think that's what I've come to terms with Picard, is I'll enjoy everything else, but those two bits are...
worth it.
Like, they're your truffles. Like, you could give me a McDonald's meal, but you've put, to carry on the food theme, but you've put, like, exquisite caviar and truffles on top of the McDonald's meal.
Okay.
And that's the bit I'm here for.
Well,
but I have to eat the McDonald's first. Yeah,
it feels like a theme park where you
all
pay,
the metaphors, bring them on.
You pay for a really expensive ticket for two of your favorite rides.
Yes.
And because you're there, you'll visit other things.
I kind of feel obligated to do it. Yeah, to get to the big rides, you have to do the shitty spinny Ferris wheel ones.
Yep.
And it is gorgeous that Soji is the one singing Blue Skies.
Oh, was she? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the same actor.
That's
she
cool.
is belting that song. She is such a good singer. Yeah, so good. Data's daughter singing to him.
I missed that. That's really sweet.
So good. Yeah. I love it. I love the finale. I love I've told you what I love. It's great. I don't like the column.
The Gollum thing was frustrating, but it is what it is. They've done what they've done. Yeah. They've written their story, and just because you think, I think I could have done better, that doesn't mean that I'm right. It's just I'm right in the moment. I'm in my raw thoughts, guys.
Oh yeah, this is why I love doing it right after we've watched it. It's really raw. It's so raw.
Literally, we stop watching and we literally start recording immediately. There's no break. I don't have a time to really think about it. But I do want to say too that I think after watching all of these, that the introduction section of Picard is one of my favorite introductions to a series. The music is so good. The visuals are so good.
It's gorgeous.
I love how it's so symbolic. It shows so much of what you're going to experience in the series without giving too much away, but there's enough wink and nod that even at the beginning I got stuff. It didn't keep changing throughout the season to give me more information. It just stayed consistent. And man, that music is so powerful. It's soft and soothing and then really strong all at the same time. It's one of my most favorite introductions, I think, to a series that I've ever seen. And
me too.
Yeah?
I'm sorry. No, of new Star Trek, it is hands down my favorite of all of the series. TNG will always be my top favorite, but it's quite fitting that Picard is my number 2. But in terms of visuals, then it's so top. It's
Isn't
the
it
best.
Great?
It's the
so
best.
Beautiful.
It's so clever.
Every little thing seems to be really meaningful and purposeful, and I really I really felt strongly about it.
Even the choice of flute is so the flute it's the same type of flute that Picard had back in. There's an episode where he was gifted a flute.
That's
cool. And it's so cool.
I love that.
And I forgot. Oh man, Albie told me this. but the is, so he's got a degree in music, and that it's some sort of inverted variant of the bum, ba, ba, bum, ba, ba, bum.
Yeah, you can
it's
hear
like
it.
Reversed and inverted or in a minor key or something. It's so clever.
There's so much about it that is like a fingerprint. It's a fingerprint of, like, if you just stuck your finger in the ink and you do your first fingerprint, that's like the first one. And this is maybe like the second or third one. You know, like it's just got that really nice texture to it that's clever. So familiar somehow. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
It's clever.
I also, so at the very end, you know, we see the crew kind of all assembled together. That was a really nice shot. I really enjoyed seeing all of them kind of walking to the bridge and kind of taking their place and feeling like, kind of like, oh, if this series were just to start, this is what we would be. Yeah. This is our crew, right? Mm-hmm. So my question for you is, I know you love Rios.
Too, so much. So much.
As a captain, he grew on me quite a lot through the series. Mm-hmm. But my question is, does Agnes go to jail?
Yeah. Who knows?
Okay. All right.
Who knows?
Okay.
You would hope.
Just curious about that.
You would absolutely think so, would you not?
Just so curious. I'm just wondering. Like, it's a great crew, but I'm like, one of you is a fucking murderer.
Yeah, one of these things does not belong.
Just because you did some good shit on the planet doesn't mean that you still don't have to account for the fact that you murdered somebody. I don't know.
Seven of Nine's a murderer as well. She's a vigilante.
Yeah, but it's not documented like this one is, right? It's not quite the same.
Yeah, no, that's true. It didn't actually happen on the ship.
Yeah, we saw her boot someone to their death, but did anybody else?
And do Romulans count? Yeah.
Oh my god, that's not what I meant.
Oh no. I do love the ship itself. It is. I have a model sat right next to me. The ship is beautiful. Like, the inside might look like a cargo container, but from the outside, it is the prettiest designed, like, freight ship I've ever seen. It's so good.
It is like a little freight ship, isn't it?
I think they killed it with that. Anything else you want to hit on from the finale? I think we've been very fair with it.
I don't think I do.
I suppose the last thing I'll say is that the synth planet is a bit of an anticlimax because we only really focus on one of them that ends up being a bit evil, and then everyone else is just potatoes. Like we said, potatoes. They're knocked down by anyone. Like, if you punch Data in the face, you're walking away with a broken fist. Like, it's just not happening. But these guys, we never, other than seeing Soji launch that bomb into orbit, we don't see any powers. We see it punch some things, but we don't see any super androids. So I do still wonder if that will come back in future seasons, perhaps. But I had a lot of notes about them, and maybe that's more like ReSInstance's Futile kind of a feel. But like, knowing that they can download their memories and kind of share information, even the one that died, you know, that you could take her memories and look at them. Wouldn't that mean that, you know, what Soji learned on her journey and the things that she'd been thinking about, she could share easier with them? And wouldn't that mean that they would be more advanced, a little bit more advanced than potato level? Yeah, but you would think. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, we're going to have a Romulan battle. We're going to have an android battle. We got like a lot of battles going on all at once right now. And then there's like the Borg ship battle happening, you know, with there's all these battles going on, but then it's the android just kind of fizzled away. So, it did. Yeah. A little bit disappointing. Okay, well, with that, it's time to head to engineering for the final ReSInstance's Futile of Picard. Battle stations, everyone.
Warning. Warp core collapse in 10 seconds.
This is the part of the show where we re-engage our sin brains, remind ourselves that no TV show is out without sin. Even our beloved Star Trek, we have been sinning it. I've rescued it, but I'm only rescuing 2 scenes because... because they're the best, and I forget about the rest of the episode. I don't want to feel like it was all bad. You know, it wasn't a bad episode. It's just a messy finale. It's just there's a lot of things to tie up. So go for it. You first. Oh, okay. Well, we talked about a lot already, like the magical MacGuffin machine, all this stuff. This and, you know, huge sin. When is Agnes going to jail? And we talked about, you know, the sister, how did she even get there? Things like that. But one of the ones I think I'd really hit on is this idea that they're running against the running against time of this beacon being
created. And so Narc and Rafi and Rios are all kind of hanging out, and they're learning about the history of this apocalyptic event or whatever. Around a campfire, very primitive campfire that they just built. Rather than staying on the ship, they go out just outside the campfire,
which now has power. By the way,
they set up a little campfire. They light the fire to tell their ghost stories while there's a storm in the sky. And I guess they talk about this all night long. So when Narc finds them, it's daylight.
Narc.
Then they start talking into the night about this situation and why he's so passionate about saving the world from the apocalypse or whatever. So he's like convincing them to sort of go along with him with these bombs, essentially. And then they build a campfire, hang out all night long, and then in the morning is when they decide to go back during daylight. And I'm like, if you're really up against the clock here, do you need to spend that much time talking around a campfire for any of this to work? I think cinematically it looks really cool because they're at a campfire, but it doesn't make any sense to me why they would need to talk about this.
They also have no idea when this beacon is going to be ready. Like,
no, they're just like super casual. Yeah.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Picard can't be reached. I mean, they could be in danger. There's all kinds of shit that could be going down. And instead they're like, I think I want a fucking marshmallow, guys. Let's build a campfire.
Yeah, let's get some s'mores.
Let's get some s'mores.
Like, it's not like they're waiting for the grenades to charge or anything. Like,
no.
Maybe I missed something, but I've seen it 4 times now.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it makes no sense.
Okay, good.
No, I agree. It doesn't make any sense. So, man, this wouldn't have bugged you, but it bugged the tits off of me, and I've learned to live with it. Albert has brought me around and also taught me to live with it. It's the copy and paste Starfleet. So I'm used to seeing a variety of starships, and the Zheng is fantastic. However, there's 300 of the same ship, and that wound me up. And I just wanted more. So the Enterprise E, the Enterprise D, Picard's Enterprise, huge, mammoth, huge ship. The Enterprise E, sleek, elegant, awesome. This is the new flagship that isn't called the Enterprise, but it's fine. It's the new flagship, and I didn't get the same scale and scope. Like, I'm sure there's tons of reasons why it's smaller, more agile, all of that stuff, but it didn't give me the elegance of the flagship of Starfleet. And also, are you just designing the one ship now? Is that it? Now, Albert has since taught me that there are actually 3 variations of that ship in the fleet. So some of the nacelles are like angled backwards, some of them are angled forwards, and some of them have different thrusters. Great. It's still the same fucking ship. You just wiggled with some of it. But that, for me, I wanted like just different classes of ship with like multiple nacelles and just a good old-fashioned Star Trek fleet. And for ease, they knew where to spend the money. That Borg entrance was epic, but there wasn't enough for me to look at in that fleet. And it's okay. The Zheng is a great ship, but I wanted more. Yeah,
there were parts of that fight, just kind of in that scene in general, that were frustrating. Like, how did Agnes know how the magical MacGuffin tool even worked? She seemed to pick it up.
She wasn't there for it. Yeah.
She wasn't there to understand its significance. And then she picks up and she's like, it's almost like I wish I had the saka baka 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 buka baka ba. And then exactly all of a sudden, like, you know, the
but I love all of the Agnes heads that are all that just so sums
funny.
her up.
Oh yeah, it was great and funny and quirky and cute, and it reminds me of the Agnes at the beginning before she became a murderer with a trembling chin. I so thought she was going to kill Alton or whatever his name is.
You were ready for like
I was like, she's gonna fucking murder this dude.
Lady,
but instead she was hyping herself up to rip out an eyeball, so that was interesting. Anyway, so that was such a crazy moment too, where she's like, she picks up this machine, it turns into whatever they need, and then they save the day because they can project many of their own selves and all this stuff and kind of do this Picard movement, and that whole thing kind of is just like, oh okay. But you know,
it is a cool callback because the Picard maneuver is a thing that we know.
It was fun. Especially for fans, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, all of the Romulan ships look the same. All of the Starfleet ships look the same.
And all of the La Serena ships look the same. So it was just the same one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the flowers, they were all the same. Yep. So it was very much a copy paste, battle.
It really was, and I get why. But I'm looking at a mouse map, man. I'm looking at a mouse map right now that I'll show you
Oh, yeah,
has
there's so many
ships on it.
Oh yeah, there's like 50 different styles of ships.
That's what I want.
I will say, as somebody who was not built to look at ships and be like, that's this version, I did think, oh, they're all the same when I saw it.
Yeah, 300 of the same ship. You never need 300.
No.
Anyway, move on. It's fine. Damn it, 7 of 9, will you please just shoot her? Like, man.
But they have to have a conversation.
Oh, no, they don't. Just stun her, shoot her. And don't get so close with your gun that fires at range so that it can be disarmed from you.
For someone who's so adept at murder, you would think that you would just be like, I don't care about what you have to say. But, you know, Narissa was insulting her or saying she was pretty, if not for blah, blah, blah. It was a very... I think the word...
we needed more of a reason to hate her.
No.
We already dislike her. She killed you.
We want to give her one good battle. So we'll give her the Narissa battle where they're just barbing back and forth with each other. I didn't need that, but okay. It was anticlimactic because you know that she's going to win. So there really wasn't a lot of stuff at stake for me, I guess, there. And the insults, it's like, I don't know. I see Seven so badass that I don't believe for one moment that she would walk in and be like, oh, you said I was assimilated and that insulted me. That
hurt me so much. I've never heard that before.
No.
Yeah, bit annoying.
Agnes says, make it so. And I didn't know if I was okay with that or not. It came out of her mouth and I was like, excuse me? But then I was like, but also okay. So
it's a bit on the nose.
I don't know if I'd seen it, but it was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
That's odd. Mm-hmm. They couldn't have told everyone they were putting him in the golem. Like, that was clearly the plan. You're just going to let Rios, 7 of 9, Raffi, Elnor, everyone sob their eyes out and go through this traumatic loss instead of saying, we're going to put him in the golem.
Has it been weeks? Has it been months?
It feels like it.
How long has it been? You know?
My goodness.
There's no conversations with, you know what else didn't happen? There was no redemption for Raffi.
Oh, her son doesn't come back. I've been dying to say that. I know.
I guess that's next time. We're going to get to that in the next one.
To say
what
that.
A fucking load of bullshit. Okay, sorry. All right,
there is no son. There is only Elnor.
Oh my God. There's only Elnor, the crying child.
Uh-huh. So my next one. So when Riker is going nose to nose with the Romulan fleet, he says deflectors to full. And I'm like, sir, were they not already? Like, now is when you put the deflectors up. Like, you know what you're turning up to. It's the standard shields up, red alert, but you should already be at red alert.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I would gladly have that one in there.
Just like, they're not already?
There was a moment, I think, that they were describing like the beacon opening up and instantly calling forth this sort of advanced synthetic life.
Snake robots.
Yeah, and there's a couple things that I didn't like about that. One is that the beacon didn't instantly open anything up. It started to instantly open, but there wasn't like an instant thing there. There was a lot of time to have the beacon there and activated and then deactivated in the nick of time cliche.
Oh, within seconds. Yeah.
But I really felt like, and I'd have to go back and watch it and like listen to how it's worded, but I really felt like they had said that it was going to be a very quick and instant feel of as soon as that beacon goes off, we're fucked. It wasn't like the beacon's going to go off, we got to make first contact and then there's trouble. This was like opening up a portal. So
the way I interpreted it was that it was a distress signal and then the aliens turn up. But this opened a wormhole.
It opened a wormhole. And if it was a distress signal, why wouldn't the AI, which is apparently watching from someplace, go to aid them anyway? Like, what if the beacon only worked for a short, like, could they just get like one little distress signal out and that was all that they could do? Would they just
maybe they're on
change their mind, So that just seemed really strange to me. Like, there was this tension that we're supposed to feel, oh no, the beacon's on. And then there's a lot of stuff that happens. Then we see some wormy things and then it closes just in time.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. The other thing that I didn't like about it is, and I get that the AIs are supposed to be like kind of more dark because they're coming to annihilate, but it definitely felt like a very on the nose, wormy, destructive thing.
They look evil. Yeah.
It would've been
Do they
really-
realize they're the bad guys?
Yeah, like they looked bad guy. How fucking cool would it have been if they looked like angelic or some shit?
Oh man, if they looked like angels or like just balls of energy. Oh yeah, you're right.
It would have been
These
so
look like
fucking
Borg.
freaky if they would have shown up and been something where we were like, oh, when I saw them, I'm like, oh, I've seen that before. I kind of shrugged, like I wasn't as interested, which might be very purposeful. I don't know. But I was thinking that it was going to be these super advanced beings that can travel through God knows how long away in space to answer a beacon anywhere in the universe, anywhere in the known. They can come to you and help you and destroy everything all at once.
Yeah.
So, and it was very apocalyptic in how it was described. So I thought, how fucking cool would it have been if something about the stories that Narc had been talking about were coming through the wormhole, so that it gave credence, like it gave depth, and it gave
a bit more demony. Yeah.
Something that gave it that feel of, this is the end of fucking everything. And it goes right along with history that has been retold for generations and generations and generations. But instead it was like a Matrix wormy thingy. So I was
totally
kind of bummed by
looks like
that.
the Matrix. Yeah. No, totally agree. If in doubt in Star Trek, usually make it green. Green or red, and that's evil enough to be obvious. No, I agree with you there. I had a really, really tiny one. General O, whatever. When they're at the planet, it's like, please initiate sterilization plan number 5. You have 5 of these?
Yes.
Like, how many sterilization plans do you have? Like, you're the bad guy, right? When you have multiple sterilization plans.
I just wrote down, I guess it's easy to pull an eye out and put it in your pocket. So I just...
Nice. Well, I had one. My analogy here is, if you smash a camera, does it mean you lose the images? No, because they're usually uploaded to the cloud. So the fact that her eye got stabbed, and then Anton, whatever his name is, Alton was
said he couldn't
struggling
access
to
it.
get the memories until the plot needed him to have the memories.
Yeah, and then he turns to be upset with evil Soji, which was interesting to me because I thought that he had sort of a already bad guy vibe going on, and so that could have been a very interesting.
Data sums it up. The Sungs are always
a little quirky,
odd.
or whatever. Odd.
Yeah, they're quirky.
Yeah, they desire. How did he say that? I can't remember.
Oh, they're an acquired taste.
Acquired taste. That's right.
Yeah. They are eccentric.
I think I would also sin that, Agnes and Picard break out of this on lockdown synthetic base and just walk back to the La Serena without any issue whatsoever.
Yeah.
I thought that was really
got time for that
sinful.
nonsense.
So and it was kind of like oh yeah, we're just skipping over. And if you start questioning
any
things,
obstacles,
we're just skipping over obstacles so that we can get to that, the main stuff.
Totally. I don't have anything else because Riker turning up was perfect. Data was perfect.
It washes everything away.
It washes everything clean. I love
does.
it. Blue skies.
And how
so
he
good.
described, we'll just end our sins with what washes all the sins away. How he describes that mortality is what gives life to humans, because peace, love, and friendship are precious because we know that they cannot endure. And so is life to him. And so he's experienced peace, love, and friendship, but he hasn't experienced death. And that's what he wants, so that he can be as human as possible. And I think that's really cool. And I think that's why I hope that they let him die. But I also know that he just exists in those little tubes and they can just plug him back in.
Without a doubt, he is gone. Without a doubt, he is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a perfect
they
ending.
Put fucking Picard in a goddamn golem. Data can come back.
Washing the sins away.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Thank you. Blue skies. Okay, let's head to the final stop, which is the captain's ready room. Welcome to the captain's ready room, where we hear our ambassador's predictions for the rest of the season and bask in her Q-like glory if anything she's previously predicted has come true. So what we're actually going to do this time is recap her predictions and see what actually came true. And a little extra surprise, which is you haven't seen the trailer for season 2, have you?
No.
I'm going to tell you what happens in the trailer and just have you predict where you think the series is going.
Okay.
On the spot. But in terms of predictions, when you stepped away from the camera when Albie was on the episode, he genuinely said, is she psychic? Like, does she know things? Is she empathic? Because some of the stuff that you've guessed has been so on the nose. It's been so good.
But a lot of it's not been, so.
Yeah, okay. I guess like any good psychic, if you guess 1,000 things and one of them is true, you look like a god. It's like, don't worry about the 900 things I got wrong. But you did get some things right on the money. So I've color-coded some stuff as well. So all the way back in episode 1.
Shit.
Daj is an android and has something to do with data. What the fucking fuck? Honestly, like, that was what you said, like, in the opening credits. Unreal. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was, I think I've talked about it, so I don't want to, like, rehash, but I think it was because we had the opening scene and then we went to the preview, and the preview shows, you know, androids and Picard being broken apart in these shards, and then how those shards kind of go through all of the things and then they come back together. Yeah. And that made me think about that Data lives through Picard.
No, that's a leap. That is a leap, madam. Madam Ambassador.
No, they did a really good job with that introduction of just really peppering in a lot of clues. And it went through the Borg cube as well. And so that's another thing where, like, Picard has been assimilated. He lives in multiple places now. So.
And even in this episode, the XB that was like, Locutus. I was like, they're always going to know. So, number 2, the galaxy thing spotted in episode 1 that is the 2 rings is something super important. So this is when you were just like, oh yeah, there's 2 circles in space. That's super important. And it kind of was. Like, that was the location of the homeworld of the androids. So, man, I didn't pick that up on my first watch, so that's another big tick for the ambassador. Now, I wrote this in note form, so bear with me. Something is going to happen with Data's memories. Reconstructing him from one particle has been mentioned a lot, so that must be important. A specific memory of Data's is going to be key to unlocking a secret. So we're pretty... Man, this is all about Data's memories. This is all about pulling things from one little ion of data that's been found. Now, there wasn't a specific memory that this was tied to, but I think I would have liked that mission a bit more. Like, there's something that Data knows, and you have to go on a mission to find out what it is. And maybe it's the admonition.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That he knew about.
I thought that it was going to tie into the well, now we know it was the admonition, but I think it would be really interesting if maybe at some point in time he had done some calculations and come to some conclusion, or saw some star
maybe
chart
he was
that
contacted and Starfleet said, you have to bury this, just like Rios had to bury it.
Right.
Data has to as well.
And it's somewhere in there deep inside, and they have to kind of go through. And again, it would have been more, to me, it would have been more meaningful if they had explored the relationship with Data earlier in the season, so that as he actually is dead, it has that impact.
I'd have loved him to play a bigger role. Totally agree. Considering you have Brent Spiner in it for so much, like, I can get past the makeup.
Yeah. Me too. Oh, I thought Data looked really good at the end. I thought he looked great.
Oh, he looked great. I wasn't worried about that at all. So, from the end of episode 2, could there be androids that have been deliberately put into the Borg? Now, I fucking love this idea so much. So there were more Sojis, more Dajas, and they've infiltrated the Borg, and that's what derailed the Borg cube. Again, better than what we got with Misery taking out the Borg cube.
Oh, what a strange throwaway explanation that was.
Oh my God.
So disappointing.
So miserable that she derailed the Borg. Okie dokie.
Okay.
What is Soji looking for? What is her mission? Is it to search for her father? Is she deliberately searching for her father? So I think back then you thought that maybe Soji might be in on it and was deliberately looking for Maddox, but that was before we knew that she wasn't activated yet.
In a way, she was looking for Homeworld. And in a way, she was looking for, like, because my confusion was, like, she was sent to this Borg cube to look for something, but she didn't even know what it was. And that's still a confusing part of this series for me anyway, is that Maddox sent her to go find information and possibly return after being activated, but then being activated means it's very dangerous. So
I don't know why she's on the Borg cube.
Loose sort of, that really isn't explained, and I wish there had been more purpose in that, at least told to us.
I mean, how did she even get into like Starfleet Academy and get her papers and background. And yeah, that isn't explained. Maybe it will be.
Who knows?
As of episode 2, the hated episode I put in brackets, Deneé thinks Soji might know that she is an android. So there was a might there. Yeah, there was a 50. So at the end of episode 3, you believe that the androids were the ones that blew up Mars, definitely hacked and set up by somebody external. And it was a specific attack. Could have been Starfleet, could have been Romulans, but there were still lots of question marks about why. So you pretty much got there with it was the Romulans and Starfleet
they were
in on it together. Yeah. This is my favourite, possibly favourite prediction of...
Rios?
Actually, no. Both of these are my favourites. So the first one is Rios is a hologram, and the captain's death that he's referring to is his own. It still blows my mind. I still can't.
We just need to write that. It would have been
so poetic.
We need to write that.
Because holograms are characters. They are sentient, so there's nothing wrong with that. Man, love it, love it, love it, love it. My second favourite is Raffi is Worf's daughter. Do you remember making that prediction?
Raffi is what?
Worf's daughter.
Worf's daughter. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do remember saying that. Like, who is this person?
I can't unsee it now. She kind of does, like, she's got some Worf in her.
Yeah, she's got that warrior vibe going on.
Love it. So at the end of episode 4, we've got Raffi is eager to get back to Free Cloud because she is delivering Picard into a trap. I liked that as well. That made sense. That's before we knew about her family and whatnot, which we obviously couldn't know.
No, that wasn't true. But she is somebody who is so suspicious that Rios suspects her of being a double agent at one point. So
yeah, totally founded. 7 is a bounty hunter of some sort. She has been hired to find Picard, but actually returns to save the day instead. So before we knew she was with the Fenris Rangers, when she just turns up on the ship, you guessed that she would be there deliberately.
Which that was pretty close. She wasn't hired to find Picard, though. That was a haphazard thing. And it really kind of doesn't pay off because the character that they show us is someone who wouldn't care anyway. And somehow she does care. So that was always confusing for me.
No, totally. So this was a big, big one. This is the episode. This is at the end of Stardust City Rag, where Agnes has killed Maddox. So we had everything hit the fan at the end of this episode, and lots of predictions had to be rewritten. So for that, you predicted that she was going to kill Maddox, which I didn't get to. So well done. You've nailed that one. What led you to think that? Was it just the look in her eye, or just that? I think you said that she was so separated from this person that she was involved with that you knew that there was something squiffy going on. Yeah. The way that she was talking was suspicious to me. And also, usually in story, when you have someone like a Maddox character who kind of enters back into the scene and can answer a lot of questions, you don't want that character to be around for very long because it sort of undoes the mystery. So he could answer, knowing that he was on the planet. He knows everything. He knows about the synths. He knows how many there are. Yeah, totally. So quite suddenly you have an encyclopedia that can just move the plot along too quickly. And so usually the writers will remove that character. They'll say, oh, they're either injured in a coma or whatever. And death is part of it. And death just made more sense to me as to why she would be cold. That's true. The DM accidentally introduces an NPC that has all the answers. Everyone keeps rolling 20s, so they have to kill the NPC. Yes, exactly. Yes, it's kill the NPC time. Yeah, that's so good. So this was the theory behind Agnes. Agnes is working with the secret police. Could be the Federation secret police or the Romulan. She's been shown a future where AI are extremely dangerous and do a lot of damage to the galaxy, and that must be stopped. Maddox is one of the few people that managed to create androids, so he has to die as well. That is back in episode 5. That's the admonition isn't mentioned until episode 8. You got the entire plot of Picard. That's everything. Well, they're showing flashes. It's not that I'm just trying to access, the ether or something. We saw tiny little flashes. Tiny little bits tell you a whole lot if you're paying attention. And when you have purposeful storytelling, they're not going to show you things that don't matter. You know what would have been better is if they would have shown us flashes of orchids in space. That would have been really confusing. Yeah, that would have been how did she see the orchids? They had to have a reason for this to be such a major thing. And so you
make those big leaps. And when you're seeing planets explode in those really quick little flashes, it's easier to kind of reach for that. I do have really strange connections to things that happen in life. I don't think I'm psychic, but I've always had weird shit happen where I can kind of look at somebody or a situation and sort of see the direction you think it's going.
You can extrapolate a lot from little.
I think I'm probably a synth, actually. So
I believe it. Having met
after
you in
watching
person,
this, I'm pretty sure I'm a
believable.
synth. Yeah, I have super strength as well.
Yeah, you do. I've broken multiple fingers just being in your gravitational pull. Fingers just snapping everywhere.
It's amazing.
That one blew my mind. That's the one that Albie was like, he texted me and was just like, are you sure she hasn't watched this before?
No, I haven't. No, I promise I haven't.
So
but
good.
It has been fun trying to watch you not smile while I've made predictions.
Oh, I've done a poor job of it. If I ever do this again with somebody, I will have my camera switched off.
It's pretty fun.
This is where I introduced noted in the log, because that's the only way I can get out of it.
It's great.
So Raffi will find a place on La Serena, join the crew and go through a healing process with Picard. Her son will turn up again at the end of the season. Well, you screwed that one, didn't you, Deneé?
I got most of it. It's the son thing. I cannot believe that they had this whole beat to their story, and they actually had screen time with two other actors.
Yep.
To do nothing with it and never show Raffi her redemption arc with the Federation. That is mind-boggling to me.
Yep. No, just ran out of time for it apparently, or just didn't stick it.
But to spend so much time on it and then not have a moment, the way that it kind of just rushes towards its end is part of, I think, why I leave this again with a decent meal.
No, that's
3
fair.
out of 5
totally
stars.
Fair. There's a little bit missing. Seven will return to save the day when the odds are against them, and Picard needs backup of some sort. The way she finds out is that this all becomes public knowledge, and all of the shit is starting to hit the fan. So people work out that Commodore Rowe is evil, the Mars attack was planned, and that's how she finds out and comes to save the day. Which
Not
I
quite
like.
right. Not quite right.
The public knowledge thing isn't. It eventually kind of becomes public, but not until the last episode.
She does show up to save him when the odds are against him, though.
Absolutely does turn up to save the day. Yeah. Right. Agnes will be redeemed. She will possibly sacrifice herself, but only after she's been able to see Soji, the culmination of her work. Soji will seem human enough that she can't be evil. It's possible for humans and AI to exist together.
Nailed that.
What? Nailed it. My God, woman.
Nailed that one. Holy shit.
Nailed it. I mean, Jesus. I mean, Picard does the self-sacrifice thing, but everything else.
She does still self-sacrifice because she stays close. No, she sacrifices her own self in a way where she knows she's going to do dark shit to do what needs to get done. Because she decided to stay with the AIs, knowing that she was like, I might have to do some crazy shit to make this work. Because she doesn't know that she was going to have to say how she's going to save Picard. I think she would have killed if she would have had to have.
Totally, absolutely. I think she was ready to kill.
That's how she was going to sacrifice herself. Oh,
yeah. Love it, man. That's so good. Right, on to... That was episode 6, like 5 or 6, something like that. So, these are your last 2 predictions. The images put into Soji's head aren't predictions, but they are altered memories. Somebody is manipulating these images for their own benefit to kill androids, which I really liked. That's obviously before we knew about the admonition. It's a great idea. Like, if the Tal Shiar and people are using that deliberately and the admonition is actually all invented.
Could have been. Wasn't true, but they are memories. Like, these are actual memories from like a long time ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Too complicated for the organic mind. So in a way they kind of are manipulated, but so that was close. That was a close prediction.
That was actually the last one, sorry. So that was kind of like where the images come from. So man,
I did have the Golem one from last episode that wasn't true.
Shoot.
So I had some Golem ones that definitely did not occur. I really wish that Agnes would have been the Golem. That would have been so fucking cool.
We do. So sorry, I have got the last one from that episode.
Okay.
So the Golem is going to be used by Agnes to survive. She kills Alton to do it, but is injured doing so she has to use the Golem. You're right. Would have been cool. Wrong.
Nope.
But would have been very, very cool. The Borg ship saves the day.
Nope.
Nope. Didn't happen.
Not used again. And I knew I knew that was true based on your facial expression. I was like, oh, they're not going to do anything with the Borg cube at all. It's just going to sit there. Okay. All right.
Would have been great. Would have been great. Good Soji will kill bad Soji. Nope. Picard survives, possibly turns into Gollum, but that's fucking dumb.
That is exactly what happens. And as it was happening this episode, I was screaming
at me, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
I wonder if you put it in the outtakes that I was recording whenever it happened, and we just like, "Are you gonna fucking put him in the? Put him in
the fucking box. What's in the box?" And yeah, you said something along the lines of Data is in a box somewhere, like Data's memory is somewhere, that was absolutely right. I was like, "Holy shit, she nailed that."
Yep, so, they actually had an in a box. They had a whole in a box scene.
Literally in a box. I love it. So I wonder if I'd come at this from a fresh pair of eyes, would my predictions have been as good? I think I wasn't expecting an original story. I was expecting lots of fan service, a victory lap, something pretty harmless. I was not expecting a brand new storyline about synths and AIs and galaxy ending stuff.
Yeah.
So I wasn't primed to know that there was an arc going somewhere, to be honest. This I was so tied up in the love and the fan service that I was blinded to the predictions, I think, but I still don't think I would have done as good a job as you.
Well, I hope you tried out when you, I should say, come back for season 2 of whatever that looks like. If you decide that you're going to, do the new Star Trek show, that means you get to do predictions yourself, and that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, it will. Based on, it's a different crew making this, but
you can still look at what they show you. It's all about
There'll
just
be
looking
stuff
at
peppered around. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the story weavers should be telling you fun things to look forward to early in little ways. Sometimes it's just in like the visuals that they put up on the screen. Sometimes it's in something that somebody says, and it's not always easy. But I love predicting things. It's one of my favorite things to do.
You're so freaking good at it. Yeah, I love riding a bike because I'm good at that. So the last kind of bit of fun, the trailer for season 2, Picard is in, he's at Chateau Picard, he's in his office, and a voice appears, and it is the voice of Q, and then Q just appears out of nowhere, and Picard is literally like, I'm really too old for this shit, Q, I don't want anything. And Q snaps his fingers, and they both disappear, and suddenly they are in an alternate timeline of some sort, and shenanigans have happened. And what is season 2 going to be about? That trailer is such a hard left turn. So it is literally, do you want to watch it?
Yeah. How long is it?
Yeah. It's like 2 minutes, I think.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I'm glad I watched it myself because your description was so different than what I just watched. There was so much more.
You watched a different trailer. So the first one that we got was literally that Q snaps his fingers, alternate timeline. This one we get a lot more information and a lot more images. Yeah.
Oof. So
it's a bit different, isn't it?
So they're going to be sucked into like a Q-like alternate timeline. And try to get out of it. I think it'll probably be something to do with Seven becoming Queen of Borg again, trying to figure out her powers. I feel like that's going to be a big part of it.
I'm hoping that comes back.
Like a Romulan on the ground. Someone was like, was there ever like a Romulan love story that they're going to revisit again?
There was a Romulan or a Vulcan that did like a mind meld with a little boy. Yeah.
That seemed to be like, what was that, giving the little boy something that was like in 2024.
Yeah.
Was that giving him something that would create synth life? Because then the visuals went into synth life after that. Like I went into, some interesting creation ideas there. So I don't know if they're going to be showing things that happened and like if they had happened differently, how that would have impacted things, or if it will impact things. But it definitely has that Marvel what if-esque style to it.
Oh, it's totally what if. Yeah.
And so they're going to have to do an interesting job of saying like, okay, if we're going to put you into this timeline and say, what if this happened differently? does that then impact things that they get to adjust? Because we saw Seven without her Borg gear on, so there's probably going to see her if she either wasn't assimilated or she was able to be fully human again. Q grabs a ship, like a necklace of a ship at one point in time. I wonder what the symbolism for that means. I would be thinking about that a lot. Yeah. Oh, and I think I saw Rios was part of Starfleet. Like he was back in a uniform and he had like a comm badge on his shoulder.
But it was like evil Starfleet. So Q has changed something in the past, and they have to go even further back into the past to change it. But for me, whenever Q is involved, it's always to teach a lesson, and it's always about kind of looking at yourself. So there'll be something very specific that he changed, and I wonder if it's something in Picard's past, maybe an ancestor of Picard who took a different decision or took a different choice, and Picard has to come to terms with some decisions that he's made in order to fix it. And I kind of think like if season 1 was trying to fix Data, I wonder if this is trying to fix Picard and his family. Like Picard is childless. The line ends with him. His brother and nephew died in a fire during one of the films. So there are no more Picards. That's it. So I wonder if this is one of the changes is going to be that he actually settles down and maybe has a family of some sort, and that's what he has to fix.
But I don't know. I kind of like the idea of there being a hero who doesn't have to have that family storyline.
Totally agree.
As a woman who gets to watch so many female stories end with, and then she got married and had a baby and everything was okay. It's kind of like, we don't have to have that story for it. So I kind of hope it doesn't do that. I wonder if it's going to be something Borg. It has to be Borg related, right?
Oh, completely. The Borg Queen is in the trailer. Yeah,
for sure. She's in there. I think I heard Picard say, I need you to... and it was going so fast. I feel like maybe was he asking Seven to do something like, I need you to take the power so that this can happen. So if that's to stop something that Q started, or to fix I don't know, to get them back into where they need to be. I don't know those things about Q. So it's really, really interesting that he's trying to fix something. If it's Q also does stuff for himself or themselves.
Because he's bored.
Let's say that one of their enemy is Borg. Like if there's an enemy to a Q-like god, like that it is Borg, what if there's something that they can do to help fight against them somehow? I don't know.
It would be really interesting if the Q were in trouble, and Q starts by meddling and Picard thinks it's a game, but it's actually a cry for help. Like that would be so cool.
I guess you'll find out.
Oh yeah. Well, that's going to be interesting. But Deneé, Ambassador Deneé, it has been an absolute pleasure going through Picard with you. You will all see more of Captain's Pod. It shall return. But for now, Ambassador, you can disembark.
Okay. But I'm taking this model ship with me.
No. You can take... Let me just snap off in the cell. In your imagination,
what you'll see is Ambassador Deneé look at the captain's desk and like go, I'm taking something as like this is my memorabilia. And I would just snag something off of the captain's desk and then
one of my little gold
dash
ships.
Away. Yeah, exactly. Like a little model ship.
Fine. You can take one of them, but I'll just immediately replicate another. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been really, really fun.
It has been fun. I'll be back for something at some point in time.
Yeah,
and until then,
absolutely.
You guys can catch me on Behind the Sins podcast. I'll be returning to the Behind the Sins podcast. For those who listen to CinemaSins content, you can catch me on Twitter at Deneé Says, and also on Twitch at Deneé Says. This has been so much fun. Thanks to all the Star Trek fans who have been so welcoming to me.
Yeah.
A Star Trek lover, but not a fan like you guys are.
Relax.
I don't know. I belong somewhere, and I love that our little crew of people that we're assembling are a total mix of people who are brand new to Picard or to Star Trek in general, and then like super fans, and we're having a really good time. And so thanks for trusting me along your little first journey with your podcast, Ian. It's been a lot of fun.
No,
bye,
it's
Captain.
been great.
See you later, Captain.
No, it's not goodbye. You will return. No, it's been great. Loads and loads of fun. Can't wait for the next episodes and whatever we do with future seasons. But that's all for now. So thanks for listening, everyone, and live long and Podsper.
Thanks for listening. Want to connect with the show? Our hailing frequencies are always open through captainspod@cinemasins.com. Like, comment, and subscribe on your podcast player of choice, and be sure to visit cinemasins.com.
Would you want to be an android? Would you like...
So there's a film called Swan Song that came out last year, and basically the guy is terminally ill, but he doesn't want to leave his wife and son. So he signs up to this organization that creates a clone of him, and the clone will not know that he's a clone. The clone will think that he is the original.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy has to be okay with the fact that a clone will be looking after his family and it's not going to be him. And then it's just him torturing himself over, yeah, but it's not real. I was like, how do you know it's not real? Of course it's real. He thinks it's real. Your wife thinks it's real. You're dead, so it doesn't matter. So it's all just like, if I can't tell the difference, fine, make me an android. Like, if there is no discernible difference and I get to live a bit longer, it's when the differences slip in that it gets more complicated, and it's like, well, what can I live with? What can I live without?
Right, like,
and what's worth living for?
Like, you're talking and then it just suddenly turns into a voice like this, and then
then it's a hard yes. I absolutely want to be an android. Would you like to play a game?
Would you like to play a game?
How excited are you
to watch the finale? I'm nervous about it. Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you nervous that you're not going to like it?
Yeah. It's
not going to be satisfying.
This is it, right? Like, when we thought about doing this podcast together, and we thought about, okay, let's do a Picard series, and then we formatted it, we planned it, we started recording it, we launched it, now we've been doing the thing, and this is it. This is the last one.
This is the finale.
I know. So I think it's like, it's not just that the show is coming to an end, it's like our show is coming to an end.
Deneé, no!
So what's the new Star Trek show that's just coming out?
So, Strange New Worlds.
What is that?
That's set on the Enterprise, Captain Kirk's Enterprise, but it's 10 years before Captain Kirk became captain. So he wasn't the first captain of the Enterprise. So it's following Captain Pike, who is so he was in the pilot of Star Trek, but the execs and nobody liked him. So they recast him as James T. Kirk and started with a pretty much new crew. The only people that survived were Spock and Sulu, I believe, were the only two actors that survived. This follows Pike, who is way cooler than Kirk, and just, their mission, they have 10 years of stuff to explore, and the only, consistent thing is Spock.
So...
that we know of.
Are they going to have, like, all the old school, like, machinery and
No, so...
This is like a reinvented...
Yeah, Discovery is set 10 years before Captain Kirk as well, but it's got updated graphics. So we're just kind of accepting that everything looks as it should, but it's now watchable in the 21st century.
Are you excited about that series or no?
I'm so excited because I don't like Kirk.
Are you going to do another watch-along series with somebody?
I mean, there's so much to choose from. That would be really cool. I would love to do that. Definitely.
It's new material.
Because then I would be doing the predictions. It's brand new material. So I would be doing predictions as well. And this series, whereas Discovery is like a season-long arc like Picard is, Strange New Worlds is promised to be episodic like The Next Generation. So it's going to be more Planet of the Week, Adventure of the Week, with some undercurrents going along the way as well. They've redesigned the Enterprise, how it looks. I'm so excited. I'm probably more excited for this than I am Picard.
Okay. So who are you going to be? Who's going to be your new guest host for this one?
Oh, man.
You're going to get Albie to come every week?
Do you want to do it?
I can come on maybe a little bit, but I don't know if I can do the whole thing.
I think Jeremy might be down for it. Jonathan would probably be down for it. Albie? It would be fun to have Albie on.
Albie
would love it. Albie would absolutely love to do it. Yeah, we love Albie. Discord loves Albie as well. There's a little chant for Albie, Albie, Albie. This is the great thing. There's so much Star Trek about. Like,
this is a new one. So if you do it right now, then you can do you can have fun, like you said, with like the predictions and stuff. Come on,
it's true.
Come on,
so good. Like how you just do it with me, Ambassador. I know we've had our differences, but
I'm getting the fuck off this ship. What are you talking about?
Bye. Nah, that's fair. She's already like 1 foot in the escape pod. You don't have to take the escape pod. We have a transport. Okay, she's already gone.
Oh, no, I'm back. I'm back. I forgot to watch the actual finale with you before I left. So
whoops.
Need to do that.
There's so much on. There's Discovery comes back, and then that leads into Picard season 2, and then that leads into Strange New Worlds. Then that should lead into, I think, like the new Lower Decks season, and then that will lead into Discovery, which will then lead into Picard season 3, which will lead into Strange New Worlds season 2. Like and everything has been renewed for another season as well.
So what's the next thing that you're gonna do a watch along series for? Like, do you have a plan?
Strange New Worlds would be the big one.
So you're gonna do it?
I would love to do it. Yeah.
Ready?
Captain.
Set?
Yep.
Go!
Yep. Good.